Welcome to the call, everyone. My name is Shay Shiva. I am the admin for Web3 Sonic. Web3 Sonic is a smart contract on the Sonic Labs blockchain. The Sonic Labs blockchain was just recently launched back in December. It is an upgrade from the Phantom network. The Phantom project, FTM, has been around for almost 4 years, and they've just did a rebrand and upgraded their blockchain to a much faster, actually currently the fastest EVM layer one blockchain. And they have a new token. And we're very, very excited to have the Web3 Sonic smart contract ecosystem deployed on this blockchain. We're one of the very first developers in the reward network marketing area when it comes to smart contracts. This is an open source smart contract. It has an MIT open use license, right? So anyone can utilize it just by connecting their wallet and registering. There's no cost except for the transaction cost for you to set up an account and get access to the dashboard, right? It's pretty much free to join the platform. In order to start earning, there are 10 levels in the Sonic smart contract, and then there's 5 levels in the BTC smart contract and another 5 that are coming in the USDC smart contract, right? So a total of 20 different income streams that you can earn. This is a 100% payout smart contract. We don't keep any admin fees. And this is not a traditional business opportunity. I've done those for the last 20 years, had some success, but they always seem to fall apart for some reason, right? So I wanted to build something that wouldn't fall apart, right? I believe in the network marketing industry. I believe in building teams and building organizations, right? And building communities, right? Focused on a common goal and a common vision, right? To be free, right? Money is a necessary evil, whether you like it or not, right? It's something that we all need. And there's multiple different ways that you can go about earning an income. And I feel that the blockchain and smart contracts is the best way to do that, right? So that's why I created this smart contract, because I wanted a way for me to track the people that I was referring, right? My personal referrals. I wanted to be able to track them and have them linked directly to me. And as I continue to build and develop and add more things to what I'm doing, I can share that with my community, right? And that I would maintain the integrity of that community. This would be the last community that I would have to build, right? Which is on Web3 Sonic. And that's why we created this smart contract, because it automates that entire process, right? It connects those people directly to you, and you can build a solid relationship with those people for, the rest of your working, right? For as long as you're in this space, right? Those people will be tied to you. And as we develop and add more things to the platform, as long as you are activated in whatever level you're at, right, you will continue to earn, right? This is something that you're hopefully is the last thing that you will build, right? Is a smart contract using the Web3 Sonic smart contract. And I built this to be a complete ecosystem, right? There's obviously lots of tools that we need in this space, right? When it comes to marketing, when it comes to branding, when it comes to scaling, you need to have automation, right, in order to succeed. This system, you can have unlimited referrals, right? There's no limits to how many people you can bring into the Sonic side of the smart contract. And the wBTC version is a forced 3x2 matrix, right? So you can only have 3 people directly below you, and then everything spills over or spills under to your team members, right? Once you complete the complete matrix and you cycle, you open up a new matrix, right? And new people could come in, and then the people who you've already referred, as they cycle, they will come back directly under you, right? And you'll continue to cycle over and over again. So I'll explain how the system works in a little bit, but this is our main website, right? This is a smart contract. Everything is done on chain, right? We are on currently the fastest EVM layer one blockchain with super fast transaction fees. I'm sorry, super fast transactions and low cost fees, right? And we have enterprise grade security that comes from the Ethereum blockchain, right? Because Sonic is an EVM blockchain, so it's running the exact same code that the Ethereum blockchain is running, the exact same code that the Binance blockchain is running, right? Any EVM layer one blockchain, any blockchain that's currently running a smart contract, right? Some of the popular ones that are not running smart contracts are Solana, right? So Solana is probably our closest competition when it comes to speed, right? But they can't do smart contracts, right? The next best thing out there probably is Polygon, right? But Polygon's not a very decentralized blockchain, right? When it comes to Sonic, the chief technical officer for Sonic is Andre Cronje. If you're familiar with DeFi and Web3, you know he's a legend in this space, right? And he is one of the head developers for the Sonic blockchain. He's coming out with several different DeFi applications. He's actually here in the United States right now to launch one of the largest or one of the first truly decentralized exchanges, right? We don't have a decentralized exchange right now. We have a bunch of different dexes, right? But basically what they do is swaps, right? Andre is attempting to create a blockchain version of Coinbase, right? Of Binance, right? Of all crypto.com, right? But a decentralized version, right? So where you can onboard, right? Right directly here if you're based here in the United States and anywhere in the world, right? You can bridge you can from fiat directly into Sonic, right? And we've seen rapid development over the last 6 months. There's over 150 applications, right? Major applications from the Ethereum blockchain like Aave and Circle. Circle just came online this week with USDC, Uniswap. Several major platforms, right, coming to Sonic. And the reason for that is Sonic gives 90% of the transaction fees back to the developers, right? This is a proof of stake blockchain. It's the first time it's ever been done, right? And right now, traditional blockchains like Ethereum or Bitcoin, those are proof of work networks, right? So they're paying validators on the network those transaction fees just basically to verify transactions, right? They're not doing anything else besides just verifying the transactions, right? And they're earning billions and billions of dollars doing that, right? So Sonic, for the very first time, is redirecting that income back to the developers, right? Who are actually building things on the blockchain, right? And that's how it should be, right? So very unique. No other blockchain can compete with us in that area. And Sonic just has so many benefits and advantages, right? So for me, the most important factor when it comes to building a smart contract is which blockchain you're using. And I believe we have the best blockchain. Now, the token is currently trading at around 58 cents, I think, somewhere around there. Let's see where it is right now. Yeah, around 57 cents, right? And so it's very new, right? We know how these things go, right? Sonic has gotten to 1 billion, almost $2 billion in TVL, right? Within its first 100 days, right? I think it took them 106 days to hit $1 billion in TVL. No other blockchain has done that in that short time frame. And all of those blockchains right now are trading at over $100. Right? So we know what's going to happen to Sonic once we're done with the migration from FTM to Sonic, right? We have less than 30 days, well, a little over 30 days, right? I think it's June 27th, when that migration from FTM to Sonic completes phase 2. And then we're expecting a massive pump with this token. But let me run through the presentation. This is a how the 3x2 matrix work, right? There's 3 open positions when you come in. Once you come in, you register, you use the referral link or the ID of the person who referred you, and you activate your position in the matrix, depending on which level you're in. But all the levels work the same, but it's a 3x2 matrix. You have 3 open positions directly under you, right? The first and the third position pay your upline, right? Whoever invited you, they're going to get that payment. right? The second payment comes to you. So with just your second referral, you break even, right? You get back the money that you put in to get started with the system. And from there, you own the smart contract for life and you'll continue to earn from it over and over again, right? On the second level, you have 9 open positions. Now you're in the upline position. So now the 1 in 3 payment go to you. Now the 1 in 3 payment go to you. Now the 1 in 3 payment go to you. And on the 12th payment, wherever it comes in either this spot, or here, right? These three, remember, this is filling from left to right. So once the 12th position is filled, that pays for your recycle, right? It'll go either to your upline or their upline, depending on who's actually supposed to get that payment, right? It's a very simple system, but it works very, very effectively, and it's very, very fast and very, very efficient once you start to plug a few people in and start to get the duplication, right? 3x2 matrix doesn't get any better, right? Because it's only 2 levels that you're building, and you can know who those people are, right? And you can build a very, very strong foundation with those 3 people, right? And there's no limits to how many people you can bring in, right? The more people you bring into this platform, the faster you will cycle, right? If it takes you a week to get 3 people, right? And then it takes those people another week to get their 3 people, then you're gonna cycle every 2 weeks, right? If it takes you a week to get your three and the same week they can get their three, you're gonna cycle once per week, right? If it takes you a day to do that, you're gonna cycle once a day, right? If it takes you an hour to do that, right, you're gonna cycle probably every hour with the system once you're getting the duplication, right? And that's what we want. We want something that works. We want something that's duplicatable, and we want something that we're guaranteed to get paid, right? No one's gonna steal our money or change the system, right? And that, we've all been there and we've seen that happen if you've been in the space long enough, right? So basically you have, like I said, you have 3 open positions directly below you. You can fill them directly, or your upline, the person who brought you in, right? You could get spillover from them. And as you build your team and as they cycle and come back in, you're getting spill under, right? That's called spill under. They're cycling and they're coming back in under you, right? So there's multiple different ways that you can earn, not only with Sonic and with the wBTC, right? But 3 people on your first level, 9 people on your second level. So it's a total of 12 open positions that you have directly under you once you activate your matrix. You're going to collect 6 payments over and over again every time you cycle, right? Remember, you get 1 payment on the first level, 6 payments on the second level, but the seventh payment pays for your recycle, right? So you never have to come out of pocket again, right? And you just continue to cycle over and over and over again with the system, right? The key factor here, right, is what we all call spillover, right? And I've already explained how that works, right? You can only have 3, so every other person outside of 3 is basically spilling under, right? So for people who are big network marketers, big leaders who have hundreds, thousands of people on their network, they're gonna love this system, right? Because they're gonna cycle over and over and over again, right? We like this type of structure because it creates leverage, right? It gives us the leverage that we need to build, right? Or if not, then we have to do all the work, right? But the key here with Web3 Sonic is that we pay out instantly. We pay out 100%, right? There's no admin fees. The transaction fees are less than a penny, right? And the wBTC and the Sonic is paid out instantly straight to your wallet, right? Currently on the fastest blockchain. And this is an AI powered system, right? It was built with AI, and there's a lot of AI technology on the back end that we're implementing every day with the platform. So you'll see a lot of development with this platform. It's not a static system, right? It's constantly under development and it's constantly being improved and tweaked, right? There's a lot of AI on the back end that's doing marketing for us, that's creating content, right? And automating how that content is shared, publishing articles related to blockchain, Bitcoin, Web3, and DeFi, right? That are bringing visitors back to the website. So as we go, right, we're only 5 months, not even, right? Since we've launched this platform, right? So we will continue to get bigger and bigger and better as we go, right? As more and more of the AI technology is implemented. We just launched the wBTC contract a week ago. So we kind of took a break from marketing as we prepared for that launch, but we're getting ready to scale that back up. This is a global platform. The only thing that you need is a Web3 wallet, and you can install that on your computer or your phone, depending on which device. I recommend having it on both, right? You can have the same wallet installed on your computer, and using the 12 words, right? You can have that same wallet on your other devices, right? But you earn unlimited income here. Everything is on chain, completely decentralized. All the transactions, right? You can instantly verify, go to the blockchain and verify that you got paid, right? As soon as you sign someone up, right, you can check your wallet address and verify on the blockchain using the transaction ID or transaction hash, right? You can see that payment. And when we say instant, we mean instant with Sonic, right? There's no waiting for confirmations here, right? Confirmations happen instantly on the Sonic blockchain, right? It's capable of processing over 400,000 transactions per second, right? That's what it's been maxed out, clocked at, right? And I think we bear, I think the confirmed transaction is under what is it, 1.3, so like around 1,300 transactions per second so far that we've maxed out on the network, right? So this blockchain can handle a lot of traffic. It can handle a lot of smart contracts, right? And it can process those transactions almost instantaneously. This is a very simple system, right? My goal is to make this as simple as possible, right? Even if you don't understand what's going on, right? You can still participate, you can still earn, and you can start earning 5 minutes after you get started with this platform, right? As soon as you fund your wallet, activate your account, and upgrade, right? You can potentially get spillover from the person who invited you, right? If they're bringing in a lot of people, right? They can potentially start placing people under you. However, spillover is not guaranteed, right? It depends on who your upline is, right? And how quickly they are, or how actively, right, they are sharing and building, right? So you want to make sure that you work closely with the person who invited you and you understand the steps to getting started. But it's very easy to get started, right? You just download and set up your wallet, you fund it with Sonic. And once you have some Sonic, you can go ahead and register and upgrade. And once you have your ID number, that ID number is tied to your wallet address. So every time you invite someone to Web3 Sonic with that ID number and they register, those payments are going to go straight to your wallet, right? And you have two different income streams, one with Sonic and one with wrapped Bitcoin, right? The power of the Sonic blockchain, right? Lightning speed, EVM compatible. EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, right? What that means is that we can support smart contracts and dApps, right? Any type of Solidity, right? Solidity is the programming language that smart contracts are written in, right? So we can run smart contract code on our blockchain, right? There's a lot of different blockchains out there. For example, XRP, or Solana, or two other popular ones. They can't do smart contracts, right? Maybe they can write custom smart contracts on their blockchains, right? But there's no developers that are capable of writing smart contracts on XRP, or Solana, right? And that's why it's not, those platforms are not decentralized platforms, right? Because they're very proprietary, right? EVM is open source, right? Anyone can write a smart contract, and deploy it on the blockchain, right? There's no restrictions, or as long as you have Sonic tokens, you can pretty much create a smart contract and deploy it on the Sonic blockchain. And because of that, right, we are building a complete ecosystem with Web3 Sonic that's going to be powered by multiple different smart contracts that are doing different things, right? Right now we have three smart contracts, one that's handling the registrations, tracking all your referrals, one that's handling your Sonic payments, and then the other one that's handling your Bitcoin payments, right? Your wBTC payments, right? This is a very secure blockchain, right? EVM, none of the EVM blockchains have ever been directly hacked, right? Now, where there's an issue with hacking is usually when it comes to interoperability, right? Which is the ability to interact with other blockchains, right? So as different assets try to come from, let's say, Ethereum or Binance, right, over to Sonic, right? That's where there's a potential for a hack, right? That's how all the other, if there's ever been a hack, right, with a blockchain, that's how they usually happen. And what Sonic has done there is they've created a direct bridge, right? A Sonic bridge from Ethereum, right? So they don't use any third parties to bridge from Ethereum. That makes the network very, very secure, especially when it comes to very valuable assets such as Bitcoin or wBTC or USDC stable coins, right? Those assets can bridge directly over to Sonic instantly, right? For faster transaction speeds and less cost, right? So we expect all the other apps to be coming over to Sonic, right? You have to be crazy if you're not building on Sonic, right? There's no other blockchain that's paying you 90% to build on their blockchain, right? And we believe that a lot of other blockchains are going to start to copy that business model, right? But they can't compete with the optimizations that Sonic has made on the EVM, which is the virtual machine, on the database level, on the consensus level, right? Sonic is way ahead of everyone else when it comes to blockchain technology, right? It really is an amazing thing to watch, right? But this is an instant pay smart contract, right? There's zero intermediaries, right? The smart contract is just a application on the blockchain that's programmed to pay you instantly as soon as you have a referral coming in, right? Based on if that's an odd referral or an even referral, the smart contract knows exactly who referred that person and exactly where that payment goes, right? And no one can change that. No one can delete your account from the smart contract. No one can change your address, right? If you lose your address or you lose your wallet or you lose access, you didn't save your private keys, you've lost all the funds that are coming into that smart contract, right? You can't ever get it back, right? So it's very important that you know your private keys and you have your private keys protected. And at any time, right, you can go to any device and install the Rabi wallet or SafePal wallet with those private keys and have access to your funds, right? Your funds are never stored in your wallet, right? People think their money is in their wallet, right? Your money is not in your wallet. Your money is on the blockchain, right? The wallet is just interacting with the blockchain, right? But your funds are actually stored on the blockchain. So it's very, very secure, right? Once you understand that, right? That everything is stored directly on the blockchain. The wallet is just what gives you access to send and receive those transactions, right? So protect your private keys, make sure you have a secure password, maybe use fingerprint or face scanning, right, in order to unlock your wallet, right? There's lots of ways that you can protect your account and prevent unauthorized access to it, right? But the main way that someone would get access to your wallet is with your seed phrase, right? The 12 words, right? People take screenshots of them and then save it on their computer, right? And then they have multiple people using their computers, right? Or they save it in their email, right? And then their email gets hacked, right? Because they're using an unsecure password. Anyway, last weekend we covered security, right? The first membership access that you're going to get access to on level one with Sonic is our Web3 security, right? We cover security right off the bat. And we just did that training over the weekend. That video is up. We haven't really secured it as yet. So everyone can use that video, right, to share with people, and they can see, some of the content that we are going to be sharing with you. Now, there's a lot more coming, right? Each of those levels is going to have lots of different tools and resources and things that you can use, right, to tap into this space, right? It's a very, very exciting space when it comes to blockchain technology, when it comes to Web3, DeFi, and AI, right? And then now we have DeFi AI, right? Which is AI on the blockchain, right? Which is a new thing that we now have access to, right? Is to build AI agents on the blockchain, right? So that is our long-term plan. That's where we're going, right? We are planning to deploy an AI agent for each of those levels. And once you unlock it, right, you'll be able to interact with that AI agent, right? And each one will serve a specific purpose, right? To guide you along with whatever those levels have, right? Now we're still developing them and tweaking them. Level 1 is done, right? Which is the Web3 security, right? We have lots more coming, and we're going to have those pages up shortly. Once you activate the level, you'll be able to click on it, access that page, and you'll see everything that you get access to with that system, right? But Bitcoin is an incredible asset, right? It's the number 4 asset in the world, or number 5. But it's right behind gold, right? Gold is number 1, right? With over, I think, $20 trillion in assets. It's going to take Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin right now? Somewhere, close to 2 trillion, right? It's going to take Bitcoin a little while to get up to gold, right? Gold is always going to be a great store of value, because it's a scarce asset, right? And that's the same thing that Bitcoin has going for it. Now, there's a lot of tokens out there, right? And a lot of different cryptocurrency projects. But the majority of them, I'd say 95% of them, do not have the scarcity factor that Bitcoin has, right? There's only 21 million Bitcoins, right? There's 8 billion people on the planet, right? There's not enough Bitcoin to go around if for everybody to just even have one Bitcoin, right? So the one Bitcoin is broken up into 100 million Satoshi, right? That's why we call our matrix the Satoshi Matrix, right? Because you're actually earning Satoshis, which is the same as Bitcoin, right? It's just a small 0.001 unit of a Bitcoin, right? We believe Bitcoin is going to reach over $1 million over the next 10 years, right? 5, 10 years, however long it takes to get there. Who knows, right? But we've already seen the transition. Remember, Bitcoin's been around for 16 years. It's proven itself for 16 years, right? And now you're starting to see the adoption, right? It took us 15, 16 years before everyone got on board. And now you're seeing governments get on board. You're seeing states get on board, right? You're gonna start to see your cities starting to get on board, right? Because this is the only solution that we have to the current financial crisis that we have right now. Inflation is out of control. If you're hoping that your government is going to come in and save you, I don't know what planet you're living on, but the only solution that we have is to take back control of our financial freedom, right? Or financial status. If you have money sitting in your bank account, it's losing value every single day, right? And inflation is just eating up. It's a tax on us, right? It's just eating away at your purchasing power, right? And we've seen Bitcoin consistently impress when it comes to its purchasing power, right? It used to be that it took 100 Bitcoin to buy a house a couple of years ago, right? Now, 5, 6 Bitcoin, you have a $500,000 house, right? That is the true power of Bitcoin, is understanding what's happening. And if you're ignoring Bitcoin and if you're ignoring cryptocurrency, something is seriously wrong with you. Maybe you like being poor, right? And that's, that's what you're hoping for, right? Is that your government save you, or somehow, right, history doesn't repeat itself, right? Well, we all know what's going to happen, right? So I strongly recommend you to take a serious look at Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin is old technology, right? So from the technology point, right, Bitcoin is not the most technologically advanced asset, right? It paved the way for the most technologically advanced asset, right? Which is at this point Ethereum, right? Ethereum currently brings technology to the blockchain that Bitcoin can only dream about, right? Bitcoin, you can only send and receive, right? That's it. It can't do anything else, right? You can hold it in your wallet. You can watch it go up and down, up and down, up and down, and you can sell it, right? So you can send it and you can receive it. That's all you can do with Bitcoin, right? It's not capable of doing anything else, right? So as a store of value, it's an excellent asset, right, to be holding. However, in order to make Bitcoin powerful, you have to bring it to the DeFi space. And we do that with something called wrapped Bitcoin, right? And I'll show you a video in a few minutes after the presentation that kind of explains what wrapped Bitcoin is and why we use it. But this is one-to-one Bitcoin, right? So one wrapped Bitcoin is equal to one Bitcoin, right? And we'll explain how that works. But using ERC20, which is the Ethereum standard on the Sonic blockchain, right now we can make Bitcoin super fast. We can make Bitcoin instant, right? It takes 15 minutes. It takes 3 confirmations before that Bitcoin can show up in your wallet. But with Sonic, we can make it instant, right? So with Bitcoin, you can with the Web3 Sonic platform, you can earn Bitcoin instantly, right? You can cycle as many times as you want, and there's multiple different passive income streams that are built into this ecosystem. So just by setting up your account, just by earning Bitcoin, just by earning Sonic, you're earning points in Sonic's airdrop. Sonic has a 200 million airdrop currently active, right? That we're all participating in. And all you need to do to participate in that airdrop is to hold Sonic tokens in your wallet, right? And you earn passive points and you earn activity points based on what you're doing. If you're participating in different applications on the Sonic blockchain, right? This, like I said, this is an AI powered platform. We use AI for marketing and analytics and to create content and to automate the system. So it's very easy to get started with the system. The first step is to go ahead and set up the Rabby wallet, right? Just go to rabby.io and download and set up the wallet. You can set it up on your computer. I recommend setting it up on your computer and on your phone. The reason why you want to use this wallet is already integrated into the Sonic blockchain. There's other wallets you can use, right? Like MetaMask. But MetaMask out of the box only supports Ethereum, right? So you have to manually add the token, right? You have to know the token address, and it's very easy for you to Google and go to the wrong website, get the wrong address, put it in, and lose your money, right? So you want to make, especially if you're trying to be secure, right? You want to make sure that you use the right token address, right? People can just create a token with any name, right? You can create a token with any name. It's very easy to do. Costs less than a penny to do that, right? So you don't go by the name. What's important is the token address. So it's very easy to put in the wrong token address into MetaMask, right? If you're using SafePal, same thing. You have to add the token address manually. Then if you want to swap your tokens, right? If you want to swap your Sonic or if you want to swap your wrapped Bitcoin or your USDC, right? You have to use a third party, right? With a lot of the other different wallets, right? A lot of the other different Web3 wallets. With Robby, everything is integrated into the wallet, right? So you'll stay very safe and secure if you're using Robby because you can swap directly into the wallet from the wallet interface. You don't have to go outside of the wallet, right? Now, if you're trying to go to a different blockchain, right? That's where you're trying to bridge one asset from one blockchain to a different blockchain. And a lot of these blockchains don't play nice with each other, right? So that's why you usually have to use some type of third-party bridge to go ahead and bridge that asset over on a different blockchain, right? But if you're using Robby, you'll be safe. Now, the person who invited you, they're going to give you their ID number or they're going to share a referral link with you, right? We prefer to use the ID number here, right? Because the ID number is usually 3-4 digits, right? If you're sharing your address, it's your entire wallet address, right? So it's much safer, much more secure for you to just share an ID number, and the system knows who that ID number belongs to, right? It's programmed into the smart contract, so it can't mess that up, right? And then once you register and you log into the dashboard, you can go ahead and activate the level 1, and I'll show you the dashboard in a little bit, and then you can upgrade in the wBTC version, right? We recommend you start off with at least the first 5 levels in Sonic, right? It's less than, I don't know, $200 right now probably to activate the first 5 levels, probably a little bit more, right? But for less than $250 in Sonic, right, you can activate the first 5 levels of the comp plan, right? The Bitcoin version starts off at approximately, depending on the price of Bitcoin, $10, $100, 500, 1,000, and then 10,000, right? So there's only 5 levels in the Bitcoin smart contract. It's designed for speed, right? And it's designed for you to cycle a few times and be able to upgrade to the next level and never have to come out of pocket, right? So as you have Bitcoin coming in, you can decide when you want to upgrade, right? The upgrades here are not automated. And the reason for that is you can't automate something if you're paying out 100%, right? If the only way to do that is if we're holding money into the smart contract, and that is not my strategy, right? I don't want, I want a smart contract that pays out everything 100% instantly to our members, right? I don't want to hold anything in the smart contract in order to do automated upgrades, right? A lot of people ask us why we don't have the system automatically upgrading, because the issue there is if you don't upgrade and your team members upgrade before you, then you're going to lose that payment, right? So you want to make sure that as you invite people, right, and as you start to earn, you upgrade and stay ahead of your team, right? Because the you don't want to miss those payments, right? They get very big as we move up through the comp plan. And if you're sharing this platform with a lot of people, you don't want to be on level 10 at $10, right? And people are coming in upgrading at 100, 500, and $1,000, right? So make sure you upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. It'll explain how what wrapped BTC is, which is the token that we're using on Sonic. So let's play this video.
Have you noticed that some tokens have the word wrapped in front of them, like wrapped BTC or wrapped if? What are they? In this video, we are going to explore wrapped tokens, how they work, and towards the end, we'll look at some of the advantages and disadvantages that come with them. Let's get into it. As their name suggests, they are essentially wrapped so that they can work on other blockchains. And their value is tied to that of the underlying cryptocurrency. So one wrapped BTC is equal to one BTC. But why would we need wrapped BTC when we have the original of the same value? Okay. So you know how the games on your phone naturally wouldn't work on your PC, but they could work with the help of special software? Tokens are almost the same. The thing is, most blockchains are not interoperable. Take Bitcoin, for example. It can't work on the Ethereum blockchain unless it is wrapped. All right, more on other advantages later. But first things first, how exactly do wrapped tokens work? For a token like Bitcoin to be wrapped, there are three major players: you, the investor, your token to be wrapped, and a custodian. The custodian is a set of codes that acts as the bridge between you, your original token, and the wrapped token. Additionally, the custodian guarantees that the value of the original token is the same as its wrapped version. So once you send your tokens to be wrapped, the custodian will mint an equivalent amount in wrapped tokens. Since new tokens are created in the process, your original tokens have to be locked in a special kind of digital vault. So no, your money doesn't double. That said, the wrapped token can also be unwrapped and turned into its original form via the same custodian through a process known as burning. Basically, the wrapped token is destroyed and the tokens that were previously locked are released. Okay, now that you have the basic understanding of wrapped tokens, let's take a look at some popular wrapped tokens. At number 1, we have wBTC, Bitcoin, but on Ethereum. As much as Bitcoin is the biggest cryptocurrency, its underlying technology lags behind its competitors in some ways. For starters, Bitcoin's use case on its blockchain is limited to the transfer of value. Ethereum offers many more services, which include running decentralized applications in decentralized finance or DeFi ecosystem. Basically, DeFi refers to financial services that are offered on public blockchains, which can range from lending your crypto to earn interest to getting instant crypto loans without filling out paperwork. So until 2019, Bitcoin holders were missing out on these services. But now, with wrapped Bitcoin, users can easily tap into the DeFi ecosystem and its applications. For instance, platforms like Aave allow users to connect their wallets and instantly get access to lending and borrowing services. Okay, imagine this situation. You hold Bitcoin and need some cash, but don't want to sell your coins. So now what? Well, you could wrap your Bitcoin, deposit it in Aave as collateral, and take out a loan in stablecoins, which are non-volatile assets pegged one-to-one to the US dollar or other fiat money. So you use the cash, and when ready, you settle the loan, and your wrapped BTC is released. As you can see, wrapped BTC gives more flexibility with how you can use Bitcoin, which was previously limited to sending and receiving. All right, let's check out another popular wrapped token, wrapped Ethereum. All right, we know what you may be thinking. Why do we need to wrap ETH? on its own blockchain? Well, the thing is, Ethereum has a set of rules a token must follow to ensure it is compatible with other Ethereum-based services and platforms. So, the tokens must meet a certain standard called the ERC20 standard, and ETH does not conform to its own standard. Weird, we know. Well, that's not all. Unlike BTC, you don't actually wrap ETH at all. To acquire it, you can simply trade ETH for wETH through a smart contract or on a digital wallet like MetaMask. So with wETH, you get a tradable version of ETH that's compliant with DeFi protocols. You should keep in mind that apart from wETH and wBTC, there are other wrapped tokens available for other chains, such as wrapped BNB and wrapped AVAX, to name a few. Now on to the next segment of the video, advantages and disadvantages of wrapped tokens. The first and one of the most important advantages of wrapped tokens is interoperability. Unlike in the past, you can now use your Bitcoin on the Ethereum network by wrapping them. And as we mentioned, this gives you access to different services offered by dApps on Ethereum. Interoperability also comes with its own perks. Okay, a quick illustration. Say a wolf joins a new pack. The wolf can now enjoy the perks of its new pack, right? Whether it's more food or even better security. Similarly, a wrapped token, say wBTC, is able to tap into the perks like increased transaction speeds, which are offered by their new blockchain. For instance, Ethereum can support double the transactions per second that Bitcoin can. As for transaction fees, many networks offer lower transaction fees. Hence, wrapping a token to run on that blockchain means you get to enjoy cheaper transactions. Next, we have increased liquidity, one of the most important aspects of every market and asset. Basically, liquidity is the ability to buy or sell assets in the market without causing a drastic change in the asset's price. That said, we know that Bitcoin has liquidity far greater than any other cryptocurrency. With wBTC, some of this liquidity can be transferred to the Ethereum network through its use in DeFi applications for lending, borrowing, or trading, as mentioned earlier. This way, wBTC is helping in shifting trade volume away from centralized exchanges to decentralized exchanges, which is generally a good thing for the growth of crypto. All right, there are also some disadvantages of using wrapped tokens, like custodian reliance. While wrapped tokens are looking to always improve, they still rely on a custodian to be wrapped or unwrapped. This goes against the whole idea of cryptocurrencies by bringing about centralization. The issue here is that when wrapped tokens are minted, it's not done directly in the desired blockchain, but rather through a central program. That said, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, and in the future, these disadvantages may be removed. Overall, it's cool that there is a way to increase the utility of cryptocurrencies through interoperability. This is great not only for the cryptocurrencies themselves, but also for the whole ecosystem in general, as it brings networks and blockchains closer to each other. So what do you think? Are you going to consider wrapping your Bitcoin or Ether now? We'd love to.
All right, so that's hopefully that video explains wBTC and you guys have a good idea of it. So one of the things that they mentioned there, right, is one of the cons, right, or one of the negative aspects of wrapped BTC, right, is that it's not decentralized. Now that video might have been a little old. However, wBTC is actually owned by BitCo, and there's multiple different signers that are partnered with BitCo that maintain that reserve, right? So it's not just one party, right? It's not just one custodian, and it is matched 1-to-1 for each Bitcoin, right? If you look at their reserves, right? If you look at their dashboard, you'll see that they currently hold over 128,000 Bitcoin directly on chain in a smart contract, right? Currently valued at over $13 billion, right? So this is an asset that is worth over $13 billion currently, right? That we are paying out in our smart contract. So super, super exciting stuff to be able to have wBTC in a smart contract that pays out instantly. So let me run through real quickly. Once you come in to the platform, you're going to get an ID number for the person who referred you, and you can come in here and you can change that ID number, or you can just put in that ID number up here. and the system will automatically activate that ID number, right? So the referral link, I have to fix this so that you can change the ID. We just made some changes there, but still works the same. You just either share your domain name or you share your ID number, whatever your ID number is, and the system's going to be able to know who referred you, and you could go ahead and activate them. So let me show you what the dashboard looks like. So the first thing you want to do, right, is go ahead and connect your wallet, right? Once your wallet is set up and funded with Sonic, once you connect, this account's already registered. So we'll just go ahead and log in. This is what our dashboard looks like. There's 10 levels here in the Sonic, right? So it's 10, 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, 640, 1280, 2560 and 5120, right? Less than $5,000 to max out all 10 levels, right? We don't have, any crazy levels here, right? But you can earn very, very easily with this platform as you scale up and as you build your network, right? Here in the wBTC version, right? This is the AI agent version. It's currently about $10.36 to activate the first level. The second level is about 103. The third level is about 517, 1,035, and then 10,000 for the highest level, right? Which at that point you're making some serious money, right? $60,000 with just one cycle on level 5, right? In the Bitcoin matrix, right? And this dashboard will give you access to all your tools, all the resources. Once you come in here and you click on it, it'll take you into the membership page, right? And you can go ahead and check out our first module here on wallet security. It's about 48 minutes, and we cover a lot of things when it comes to securing your Web3 wallets, best practices, things like that, right? This page is this is just the beginning of it as we start to add the content and the membership levels in, right? But this page is going to have a lot more value than just, what is it, $5 right now to activate this level, right? You're going to get, tons and tons of training and tools to help you build just by activating level 1, and it gets better and better as we move up through the different levels. So that is my presentation for Web3 Sonic and the Satoshi Matrix. I'll go ahead and stop there and open up for Q&A. You can type in the chat or you can unmute yourself if you have a question. Any questions? All right, no questions.
You did a really good job on this presentation. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Stephen. I'll try to get it uploaded as soon as we're done. I'll decide whether or not to leave the Q&A part. But so ask some questions, guys. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to cut it out. Do you guys understand everything? Does everyone? I know I've been getting questions every now and then. I get a question that just throws me off because I feel like you guys should have known some of these things already. But just a quick summary, right? Sonic is the blockchain. The token is S, right? So don't look up Sonic if you're doing your research on the token, right? Make sure that if people look up Sonic, they're probably going to find a scam token, right? Make sure that they're looking for the Sonic S token, right? And the best way to get that information is directly from the Sonic website, right? You'll see the symbol here is S. You can also go to CoinMarketCap, right? And you can get all the information here about the token, right? This is a good place to do your research. CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, any of those places will give you usually accurate information. But remember, these tokens, these blockchains have to pay, right? Not all of them. Obviously, nobody's paying for Bitcoin, right? But new tokens have to be paid to be listed on some of these sites, right? So you take it with a grain of salt when it comes to new tokens. But Sonic is a blockchain. It's not a token, right? The token is actually S, right? Which is the native token of the Sonic blockchain. All right. Any other questions? Let's see in the chat. All right. Best smart contract. Thank you, Rhonda. Appreciate you. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Does everyone understand everything? Everyone knows how to log into the dashboard. Hopefully everybody has Rabi wallet. Even if you have SafePal, make sure you have Rabi, right? Life is just going to be a lot easier. It's going to make it easier for you to onboard people, right? If you know what you're doing. If you're using SafePal and they're trying to use Rabi, you're going to be confused. They're going to be confused, right? So you want to get to a point where you're duplicatable, right? You're making it easy for the people who are coming in. Understand that if they're new to this space, they're going to need to know how to set up the wallet. They're going to need to know how to get Sonic, right? So don't leave them to figure that out for themselves, right? Don't leave that to me unless they reach out to me, right? I'm not going to know that they need help, right? They can click on this chat here and we can help them, right? But if they don't do that, right, and I'm not available, right, then they'll have some trouble there with funding the wallet, right? So real quick, I didn't mention that on the call, but let me cover it right now. So if you scroll down here, you'll see our little built-in swap, right? You can swap any cryptocurrency. I think we support over 1,000 different cryptocurrencies right now. So if you have BNB or USDT on the Binance Smart Chain, right, and you wanted to swap that for Sonic, right, you would just get your Rabi wallet address, right? Go up here, get your Rabi wallet address, and then depending on how much BNB you have, right? So let's use USDT, right? USDT on, let's say, the Binance chain. Let's see where that is, right? So here it is, the Binance chain, right? Let's say you have $100, right, in USDT on the Binance Smart Chain. That'll give you 171 Sonic, right? More than enough for you to get started, at least the first 3-4 levels in the Sonic smart contract. And then you have enough to swap. Once you have this in your Rabi wallet, now you can switch over to the Rabi wallet and you can swap that Sonic, right? Let's say you wanted to swap some Sonic. Hang on, I'm on the Binance chain right now. Anyway, USDT, right? It'll give you the wallet address is the same, right, for all the EVM blockchains. So once you click here, it'll ask you for the wallet address and you just paste that in, right? And it's going to tell you exactly, once you paste in that address, right, it's going to tell you exactly where to send that BNB, right? And you send it to this address, and as soon as it receives it, it'll send you the Sonic to your address. Now, one of the things that I do want to mention for the people who were actually on the training call over the weekend, one of the things we talked about was the Safe Wallet, right? Now, Safe Wallet is a smart contract. It's basically protecting your funds in a smart contract, right? So instead of leaving your money in your wallet, right, you can put it into a smart contract and lock it up safely and securely, right? Where it requires multiple signatures from multiple devices before any funds can be taken out of, right? That's an added layer of security. If once you start to earn a lot of Bitcoin, right, with the system, right, you're going to need to know how to protect it because people are going to try to steal it from you, right? So the best way to do that is to lock it up in the smart contracts. However, one of the things that I found out is that the swap doesn't work with a smart contract, right? So make sure that if you're using the swap, right, you're using your Rabi wallet. Make sure the funds are actually in your Rabi wallet, right, and not in your Safe wallet, right? The Safe wallet is a smart contract, and if you're trying to send funds from a smart contract to another smart contract, such as the one that they're using here, it's going to reject that transaction. It didn't reject the transactions; they actually got the funds, but it didn't trigger the send mechanism, right? So I actually had to contact support and have them manually send those funds over to me. They didn't complain about it, right? But it was just an extra step, and it took away the automation. So I just wanted to mention that if you are using Safe Wallet, if you started to implement Safe Wallet, don't send funds from the smart contract to another smart contract, right? If you have to send funds to a smart contract, you use your wallet, right? You're using your Robbie wallet. Smart contract to smart contract doesn't play nice, but I found that out the hard way. Didn't cost me anything. I didn't lose anything. But I just wanted to mention that just in case any one of you started to implement those security measures that are in the module 1 training. All right. Any other questions before we wrap things up? All right. Awesome. Thank you, Steve. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will be back here on Friday. We are going to start. We are just tweaking a few things. If you looked at the website, the mobile version, let's see if we can show you what the mobile version looks like so you can see the difference. The experience is a little different if you are on your phone and if you're on your computer. And the reason for that is if you're on your phone, you're more than likely opening up the website in your wallet, right? So you're opening it up within Robbie, right? So if you look here, right, you'll see that, hang on. Right, if you look here with the wrapped Bitcoin video is added to the mobile version here, right? So it's a little different on the mobile version, but just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of that. We had some issues with the Bitcoin page. It looks like it's using this page, so I'll fix that. It was working earlier and I must have broken it, so I will fix the Bitcoin page and have that restored shortly. Right. Other than that, if anyone else doesn't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap things up and we'll be back here on Friday. All right. Thank you.
Shay,
Yes, go ahead. What's up,
how you
Garfield?
doing, brother?
What's up, man?
Do me a favor. Can you give me a call, please? Don't tell me you give me a call and then I wait that number. Give me a call, please.
I will. All right. I'll hit you up after
Please.
the call.
I'm
Okay.
begging you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Friday. And stay tuned to the WhatsApp channel. We'll put out some updates as soon as we add anything or anything new or exciting. USDC just came live. Native USDC just came live on Sonic. So if you had USDCE, that is now converted into native USDC, which is a big deal, right? USDC is over $60 billion in assets that are potentially available to Sonic now, right? So really cool, exciting stuff. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.